This is Bumping Into, where we have interesting conversations with people from all walks of life.
G'day everybody, thanks for joining the show. My guest for this episode is Jamie Dunn, also known as AGRO from AGRO's Cartoon Connection. Both AGRO and Jamie have had stellar careers. AGRO, the TV star, obviously most known for his early morning Cartoon Connection show, became an icon of Australian culture, I guess you'd say, just like Dickie Knee and Pluck a Duck were as well. Still widely loved. And Jamie Dunn also became a ratings legend of early morning breakfast. Jamie was kind enough to agree to come on the show, and I got to talk to him about his career in TV and how AGRO came about, and right up through to his career in radio and what he's doing now as well. If you do have kids in the car and you're trying to keep them as pure as you can, there is a little bit of conversational swearing, nothing too much. But it's a great show. Jamie is a great guy. It's a great episode, and I'm so thankful that he came on the show because he really does come across as such a genuine great guy. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy this episode, so I will see you on the other side.
Hello.
Jamie, it's Francis. How you going?
Going good, mate.
Are you free?
I'm free and ready. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to ask you, obviously, icon of television and radio. So, and I've done a little bit of research and I've found a few other little podcasts, and I'm sure you probably get sick of telling the same stories over and over again. So
No, I love telling the same stories over and over again.
I wanted to nut into a few little gaps I've found. So I wanted to go back to where you grew up and how you got into TV.
Okay. I grew up in Rockley in Brisbane, which is, when I was growing up there, you'd go there for a counter lunch and a fight. Let me see. Really, the Beatles got me going into music. I was a drummer. And from drumming, I ended up doing, I guess, a little cabaret show. I was backing people and going, how come they're getting all the money? And some of them were pretty bad. And I thought, I can be that bad. And I got up and did a little bit of a show. And then from there, what was I? I was doing a segment on Channel 7, just a, what's happening in Brisbane type segment as me. And then they asked me to do AGRO because there was another guy that did AGRO before me, but I was asked to do it. And I always say to everyone in my business, you say yes first and then work out how to do it later. So I said yes to AGRO, and he was only on TV, on a Saturday morning in Brisbane. And then from there, he slowly, well, probably not so slowly, but became national, and then he was on every morning and every afternoon, and he was really took hold.
Yeah, it took off massively. I mean, I don't think there was anyone that didn't wake up in the morning and start the day off watching it. Even adults used to watch it as well.
Well, they did a survey, before we started putting stuff out like dolls and show bags and bits and pieces. They did some research, and at one stage there, AGRO had a 98% recognition factor.
Wow.
That's like amazing.
Yeah, geez. I mean, it doesn't get much higher than that, really.
Yeah, but, when you think about it, Francis, if you were on television twice a day, every day, and then there was the Super Saturday show and the Super Sunday show, and on Saturday nights there was Main Event, which was a game show that AGRO was on, and Friday nights, Vizard called me in Brisbane and said, I'm going to take Fridays off. Would you like to host the show? And it was kind of funny because I dressed AGRO exactly as Vizard. And that was, it was just relaxed and good. But if you were on TV for that amount of time, you'd have that recognition factor as well.
And it's funny now, there's no local stars really. Like if you look at it, maybe the people on the project are the familiar regular faces, but nothing like it was. There isn't the hey it's Saturday crew, AGRO's and your crew, that those everyday recognisable people that become part of your daily existence, that everyone knew, kids, parents, it was a whole cross selection. That's sort of gone now. It's very, very segmented.
Well, it's changed,
yeah.
Everything's so politically correct, when we were on, I think there was a group called Housewives for Better Children's Television, and they would get copies of AGRO's Cartoon Connection, and they would meet once a week and then run a tape and make notes of when we breached.
Oh,
so,
wow.
we oh my God, we were in front of the ABA so many times for things like one of the ones that got us off air was there was a promo for MacGyver in the kids show, which is in the commercial break, not even on the show. And he raised his arm and he had a gun under one arm, and we were accused of flogging firearms to kids and stuff.
Can you imagine then today if some of that humour was on TV, especially in the morning, like it'd last half an episode?
Yeah. Well, I think for better or worse, I guess it just stifles that sort of relaxation. You got to be so, careful
and clinical.
Yeah, exactly, and that sterilises it, and it's just not, the ad lib side of it doesn't come out. I think that's why there's not your hey-heys and things like that around anymore.
Yeah, it'd be such a hard task. There's a fine line that you have to walk between still being organically funny and natural and being so careful as to not create some massive infection that's going to get you off the air.
Yeah, well, we were in a G rating, which is the same as the 6 o'clock news, so
right.
Gee, it's not like we were. Yeah, it wasn't C class, like it wasn't the educational children's television. It was just entertainment. So, but it became almost impossible to put it together, really.
And so at the time, tell me if I'm wrong, it was pretty much only yourselves and maybe Totally Wild that were Brisbane television productions?
No. There was a lot of game shows recorded, like Family Feud.
Right.
Wheel of Fortune was in Adelaide, but Family Feud was shot in Brisbane. There was a whole stack. There was BTV, like Channel 7 Brisbane, was alive with production. And now, of course, you go up there and you could shoot a cannon down one of the corridors and not hit anything.
So there's just nothing now, gone from that to zero.
Yeah. Well, everything's changed, Francis. Like the cameras used to be on wheels.
Yeah.
And now you can just do it on your phone.
And your co-hosts that you had, obviously, like Anne-Marie and Teresa, they would have had to have been good sports. They never seemed to take anything too serious. I know that Agro copped a few slaps on the head. That was a common thing. But
that was Anne-Marie,
yeah. But they both seemed to really just more enjoy it rather than look to take offence to everything.
Yeah, no one did. In fact, what it was like, Francis, was putting together a whole stacky of friends that enjoyed the same sense of humour and just letting the cameras roll. And that was like Gibbo and Crikey, and Anne-Marie was very clever at being silly, and it was just relaxed.
Yeah,
it just turned into entertainment. Yeah. But, that didn't fit with the constraints. Well, when you look at all the election coverage we're getting at the moment, and for Albo and Scotty from marketing, they say one thing in a sentence and then the whole world comes down on them.
Oh yeah, how they cannot speak just straight away and then people criticise them for talking like robots, and it's like, well, you're going to grab a tenth of what he says and use it against him.
There's no winning.
No, there's not. It'd be a terrible job.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but I
do.
mean, I was in it for a long, long time. I'm still in it, but television's changed, as is radio now. As you look at radio,
Yeah.
and it's almost like how taxi cabs didn't see Uber coming. You know, it just is
Yeah.
like an explosion of like Netflix. You know, we all watch Netflix and Stan and Disney Plus and As a
That
matter of
is
fact, this
funny.
afternoon, I was flicking through this afternoon. And I thought, oh my God, the Love Boat. the Love Boat's on television. Like, still,
Yeah.
my God, they're wearing flares.
Yeah. And some things age well, like Bewitched and I Dream of Genies. They've had a good run. They've definitely aged
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know the other one that I see. I often think I see of an afternoon. My Favourite Martian. It's in black and white, and I sit watching My Favourite Martian, thinking, I wonder who gets the royalties from this. I wonder if
Yeah.
whoever played the Martians, family, still
If someone's
derive an
still
income
getting it.
from the
Yeah.
fact that it's still on. Yeah, the Love Boat people and all that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, you had a big run. I mean, you were on air for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you were kings of the morning. I mean, before Sunrise replaced you, it would have been, fair to say that Koshy would have been your coffee boy.
Well, yeah, and interesting, what happened with us, let me see, on Saturday mornings, we used to do the Super Saturday show, and we were pulling 13s and 14s on a Saturday morning, which is, and as I went to different shows, like if I'd go to Perth, for instance, to do a show, I'd make a meeting with the Channel 7 rep there and talk to them about taking the show, and eventually it went national. And so Saturday mornings, we were pulling big ratings. So what does that do in television? That attracts Disney, and they buy your time slot, and you lose your show.
Oh, really?
I know, it's a cruel business, Francis, isn't it?
Wow. So that's how. So because you've made that time slot profitable and feasible, rather
Yes,
than look at
when
it and say, "Well, this was what you did," it's like, "Oh no, you've changed this for us now. We're going to take it away from you."
Yeah, well, it's only a business decision. So Disney were looking to put something on television out here, and they had some money, and they had a look at where the children were, and the children were watching AGRO, and so they simply, that kind of worked in my favour a bit, because they took me off Saturdays and put me on. There was a show which was called Cartoon Connection, and then I got that, which used to be out of Sydney, but then they put it in Brisbane, and it was AGRO's Cartoon Connection, and so it all kind of worked.
And do you ever see any of the old crew, like the old co-hosts or anyone that you used to work with there? Are they still around?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I don't socialise with them, but we with how communication is now, we just put up. I'm doing some AGRO Up Late shows, so we're doing shows around the place in different theatres and things. And I just put one up the other day, and Anne-Marie sent a message going, "I'll be there soon." I'm actually working with someone else, of course.
Oh, well, that's really cool. That she's still, she's still looking, and you still got a connection.
Yeah. Oh, well, the one thing that's gone forward is communication, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
my God, you can find anyone at any time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. And when the show finished in what, 97?
Oh, I'm not sure when it
Pretty
finished.
sure it
I
was
know I was on
97.
and then I was gone. Yeah.
So once it finished, is that like, ripping your heart out, and they come and tell you, well, that's it, you're done, and you sort of sit back and go,
No.
"Oh, shit."
In television, I found that you work, dead man walking. You kind of know when it's coming.
Oh, okay. So at any minute, there's someone coming from behind that could just take it all away.
Yeah, well, when Disney took over the Saturdays, I got called upstairs to the Marble Row, and you get sat down. And the main man said to me, "I've got some good news and some bad news." And he said, "What would you like first?" And I said, "Well, I suppose you'd better give me the bad news." And he said, "Well, we're taking you off Saturday mornings." And remember, we were flying, absolutely flying. We're taking you off Saturday mornings and putting Disney in there. That's the bad news. Well, I stood up because I was so arrogant and, going so well. I slammed my hand on the desk in front of him. I said, "Well, the good news better be really fucking good." And that's when they gave me AGRO's Cartoon Connection. And, we hit the ground running with that, yeah.
And how long after that all finished did you jump in? Because you had massive success with B105. Like that was huge.
Yeah, that was an accident. Hey, they I hate to say accident, but it kind of was. Because AGRO was going, he had that sort of, like cult kind of, he sort of went through the children to the adults to the grandparents. So he was like hitting the entire family. Like everyone found something about him that they liked, no matter what age they were.
Yeah.
And, it just kind of worked. And he became, household kind of.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And the outtakes, well, back in the day, those things, someone somewhere, I don't know who it was, put them up on YouTube, and they've had 4.5 million hits. It's created a whole new audience for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. 4.5 million out of only 25 million in the country.
Yeah. Well, we did a show in Mackay and pulled 800 people.
Wow. Jeez.
That's this year. It's like
So there's
amazing.
still a huge following that people haven't forgotten.
I know, and yeah.
Which is
Very
good for
strange.
you.
Well,
Which is, you can do as much or as little.
Oh, not really, Francis. I'm like, I'm over 70 now, so I can get down to do an AGRO show. I just can't get back up again.
And when you went into radio, so was it straight from TV to B105?
Oh, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, well, B105. There was a guy there called Ed Breslin. I don't think he even knew who I was. He rang Channel 7 and asked to be put through to the guy that did AGRO. And so that's how B105 came about. So
You think he'd
I
been
just
in
answered
Brisbane?
the
You think
phone.
he would've known
Yeah.
you?
And no, it didn't really know me. And I remember having a lunch at the Coronation Hotel where everyone used to go in those days. And then I just started B105 and for some reason, and then same as I did with the Cartoon Connection, I surrounded myself with all the people from Cartoon Connection. There was Gibbo and Crikey, Mike Gibson and Ian Calder. I took them down to B105 and they were behind the scenes doing voices and ringing in and, coming up with ideas and stuff. And so it was the same people, but in a different medium. So we were in radio and it just worked.
Yeah, so I suppose you've kept that dynamic. That was a big part of it, rather than
exactly.
startup.
I stayed with the people. Yeah, I surrounded myself with very clever people, and I took all the credit.
And how did the B105? Because I remember, and you can easily see you were like the ratings king of B105, and it had everyone talking about you. How did that come to an end?
Same way, really. I had an escape plan put together in my mind, and I had spoken to management about taking me across to Triple M, because when it's called Jamie Dunn and the Morning Crew, and they want to change it, there's only one person that's going to die in the car park, and that's the guy called Jamie Dunn.
Yeah.
So. So if you're the pivot, if you're the main man, the corner piece, and that's with anyone, it happens. it just happens. But I had 17 years, and I could just feel, they were changing people around me, and I could feel it wasn't working. But we were still rating, but not as well as we did. And I had a plan in place to go across to Triple M, and the guy I was working with, Ian Skippen, he got an offer from, I think, 97.3, and they didn't want to lose him to 97.3 and have any one wander across and try them. So they took him to Triple M, and I couldn't help but think that he took the last boat off the Titanic. I was the propeller guy.
And that, because what? So did you jump ship? You did a stint at Triple M?
No, I didn't. No, they binned me. That was it. I was lucky enough to, and it's just lucky. I went to a movie, and it ended up Maroochydore. I went to the movie theatre, and it had two screenings. One was from Hot 91, and I went to the loo, and I was painting the wall like men do, and the guy beside me was the managing director of Hot 91, and he said, in the loo,
"Jeez,
you ever thought of coming up the coast?" And I already knew that the jungle drums were telling me I was dead, and I said, as a matter of fact, I have. And from that, I ended up getting a job on Zinc 96. They were starting a brand new station, and they took me from B105 up there on way less money, but still alive,
Yeah, but what are the odds of that happening at that time?
Yeah, I don't know. I have been very lucky like that. What chance that's happening? Because men don't generally talk to each other in the loos.
No, that's definitely
you
right
find,
place, right
you
time.
find the corner, and face it. But
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, I from that, I was taken by B105 to the coffee shop next door, and they said, we're going to take you off air, and we're having a press conference next door in an hour, and we're going to, if you could resign. And I said to them, that's not happening. And they went, yeah, everyone's up from Sydney, we're ready to do it. And I said, if you want me to stagger around the car park in tears like you've just killed one of my children, let's do it. And they went, well, hang on. I said, I need time to finish this deal up the coast. So that was on a Monday. I drove up the coast and had a meeting with Zinc 96, and we signed all the papers, and then all of a sudden I resigned.
Wow, jeez, it definitely seems like, yeah. I mean, while there was a bit of you having to leave B105 wasn't great, but the circumstances and the next opportunities were always, there was always something else.
That's right. I was. I don't know whether it's luck or cunning. I don't know what it is, but it always seems to work for me.
And did you eventually retire from radio? Like, you just had enough of it?
No, that's and isn't it a terrible business? I had some issues at the last place I worked at. Just coming into Christmas, there was an issue about pay, and so I said, "Hey, you haven't paid me," and they went, "Oh, no, you're paid per show." And I said, "No, that's not what we discussed." And they went, "Well, no, that's it." I said, "All right, well, I'm done. I'm not, I'm out and I'm finished." And next minute they put up on their website, Jamie to retire.
Oh, so that was their way of saying.
Oh yeah, wouldn't you love to do it to them? Yeah. Imagine if someone just said Francis is retiring,
yeah,
and then released it to everyone. Well, the phone doesn't ring for a little bit.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, because yeah. And
yeah, but it's all right. No, I'm going fine. It's all good. Happy as.
So what is next? Like, for guys like yourself, well experienced, well loved. I often think I don't know if you heard last year. I think Rex Hunt, he had an issue with 3AW. He came in to call a couple of AFL games and he stormed out because they had a go at him about something he said that wasn't politically correct. And he's like, "Well, I'm done. I don't need to do this." And you sort of think all these guys, there should be a platform where if Rex Hunt wants to call an AFL game, you can subscribe and listen to it. And guys like yourself, it doesn't need to be this big monster that is must survive and thrive. It can surely these guys can be in a position where they can tinker and create something that if someone wants to jump on the mornings and listen to Mornings with Agro, there's a way that can happen, and it's not so strictly business.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but like you get to a stage, you really do get to a stage where you go, is this? Do I really want to put up with this?
Yeah.
And when I say put up with this, I mean I guess I've been a bit of a rock and roll mercenary and being able to create another opportunity, and do different things and surround myself with creative people and stuff. But eventually you start realising that, not getting up at 3 o'clock, getting up at 7, having breakfast with your wife and, watching her in the garden and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Am I sounding old now?
No. You're just sounding like someone doesn't want to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, which I can totally understand. Yeah.
The sad thing about doing breakfast radio for so long, I was 17 years at B105, and then I was, a few years up the coast, and then I went to 4BC, which was, that was terrible. That was, I thought I could be a talkback host. Forget that. That was like joining the RSL. But anyway,
well, you're not that old. Sorry, you've got a young mindset.
Yeah. I'm lucky in that I'm with someone I'm very, very happy with, and I find, I don't know, I do drive around listening to a radio going, he's missed the out. What are they still talking for? He should have gone.
Yeah, I can imagine you would. Yeah, because it'd be just instilled in
that's
you.
what happens, yeah. Or I'm sitting watching television and I say to my wife, oh, no, the mic's gone. Look, they didn't bring her up. They didn't bring the mic up. Oh.
And so what is next? I mean, obviously, other than enjoying free time, is there any itch left that you want to scratch?
No, not really. I don't think so. Although, what irritates the people that are close to me is that I say yes to everything and then work out how to do it. And if the phone rings, I guess my radio career was kind of over. I was just drifting along on a small station, and the phone rang, and it was Uber Eats, and then you've gone from nothing to a couple of years' wages in one hit.
Yeah. So you got these shows that you're doing at theatres with Agro.
Yeah. I enjoy them because I'm working with Ben from Brisbane, who was on Big Brother, and he's great to work with. Gay as and wonderful, and I would normally work with a bubbly blonde, but I ended up working with Ben from Brisbane, and I just love it. Yeah, it takes it in a different direction, and he was a fan of Agro, and well, still is. But I remember having the first meeting with Ben, and I got Agro. I took Agro along to a coffee shop, and I hadn't met Ben before, but he had said that he was a fan. And I got Agro out, and the poor devil nearly passed out. It was because Agro comes to life, you know what I mean? Like it's not like I've got a puppet on my arm. He's like you just can't stop looking at him. His eyebrows going up and down, and he's got real attitude.
And do you do that nationally? Are you on the road, like taking him everywhere?
Yeah, well, COVID it was to be national, and like we had a 1,000-seat theatre in Perth that had virtually sold out.
Wow!
And I was like, I sit here going, why what? How's this happening? But no, it's going really well. And just with COVID, I didn't want to go to Perth and be stuck there, and not be able to get back, and it still feels a little bit like that you can't get up and go. You know what I mean?
It has that feeling of it could change at any second with some of the states. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about putting our toe in the water and going to Newcastle and see how that goes. But it seems to be going really well. The bookings are all strong and everything. Retro's back, thank God.
Yeah, well, and so it should. Like, there's, so many people love that character, and it's easy to watch. It's easy. That's the thing. There's not much on TV that's easy either.
Well, that's what you're saying about Hey, with Russell Gilbert and Aussie and Pluck a Duck, and all those, Dickie Knee, all those sort of Australian characters are like, I love all them. I really do. I like that. I like that someone can just put a wig head on a stick and put a cap on it, and that's a character. I like that. Yeah.
Well, and any plans to do a Gold Coast show? If I sounding selfish. Yeah.
Isn't that strange? No. Yes. I only just made the list yesterday for next year, and started with the Gold Coast.
Oh
yeah. I don't know where. There's a place down there called Pink Flamingo or something, isn't there?
Oh, in Broadbeach, I think it is. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw that. Saw someone had worked there, and I thought, I must remember to put agro in there.
Oh well, that's really good. I'm glad that it's still, you're still getting to do.
Well, I'm glad you still remember, Francis. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh no, look, I thank you for your time. I mean, you're an icon. You're part of Australian culture, and your time is valuable. And I was blown away that you agreed to come on. It was that was really kind of you.
Mate, if you were paying $2 bob and a toffee apple, I'd still come on.
Well, next time you're down here, if you're free and you got nothing to do, by all means let me know, and we'll go out either for a coffee or a beer or anything.
Yeah. Well, coffee. I'm not a drinker, but I'm a coffee guy.
Yeah, I'm a coffee guy too.
Of coffee and
Well,
don't be a stranger. You've got my number. You got my email. You got everything.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, look, I'm into coffee, so I've got all the best spots lined up. So whenever you're in the postcode, you make sure you let me know, because I definitely owe you a coffee for your time. I'm eternally grateful.
Well, thanks for even talking to me, Francis. I'll leave you to it, eh?
Yeah, no, thanks, Joe.
All right, mate.
Thanks very much for listening to the show. I do appreciate it. If you know anybody that you think would enjoy this show, please do share it. It is the only way that the show will grow. You can also find out more at bumpinginto.com.au for past episodes and information on the show. I am going to try and get back as soon as I can with another episode. But thank you very much for sticking around, and I will speak to you soon.